Hey everyone, Clueless Dad here. First I want to say happy holidays to everyone. My son actually just turned 1 year old this very week, and this channel is now also officially 1 year old too. So thanks everyone for your support. Okay, in today's video we're going to review the YoYo Plus by BabyZen. This is what's considered a lightweight or ultra portable stroller, and this is actually my friend's stroller that I borrowed for a few days to make this review, so thank you to Jessica. The YoYo Plus currently goes for about 400 to 500 US, depending on where you buy it. So it's definitely at the higher end of the ultra portable sector, but still somewhat reasonable compared to the $1,000 plus full-size strollers that you can see on the market. The YoYo Plus is an upgraded version of the YoYo, which is known as one of the smallest packing strollers available on the market. Its big claim to fame is that it folds up small enough to fit as carry-on luggage on most airlines, and they also have different seating options for newborns versus 6+ month olds, and then they also have attachments for car seats. So the version you see in this review is the 6+ month pack, which is for kids obviously over 6 months. The newborn version is similar, but it basically has a bassinet that faces rear in place of the seat which faces forward. So this stroller, particularly this 6-month-old version, is super popular lately where I live, here in Hong Kong. And that's due to its small size and lightweight. So you can see lots and lots of them in the subway, at the shopping mall, just on the sidewalk. But it's actually not just legit yo-yos and yo-yo pluses. There also are tons and tons of fakes and imitators. I've actually been taking pictures of some of them, and I'll share some in the end of the video. Check it out, it's actually pretty funny. So the stroller weighs about 6.2 kilograms, which is like 13.5 pounds. So it's not super light, but it's definitely portable. It folds to 52 centimeters by 44 centimeters by 18 centimeters, which I won't even try to explain what it is in inches, but basically it can fit under your arm as you walk around. Check out the video. Stroller that can be carried under your arm with this cool bag and strap, and also can unfold into a pretty good stroller. And here's how it compares side by side with our Zobo Easy Light from Toys R Us in the US. Clearly much more compact. It comes with a carry strap and a bag, and it folds up and unfolds relatively easily. When the subway is this packed, it's nearly impossible to get in and out with an unfolded stroller, much less a folded stroller. But in this case, the BabyZen does a pretty decent job. It's not quite one touch, but as you can see, it passes what I think is the gold standard test, which is, can you pick up your kid, hold them with one arm, and then pick up and fold the stroller with the other one. And as you can see, pretty much this one gets an A. The frame is made of sturdy aluminum and is pretty stiff, and it also has suspension on the wheels. Those of you who've seen my previous stroller reviews know that I'm very picky about wheels on a stroller. A good stroller with bad wheels is basically worthless. Generally, my rule of thumb is bigger is better, but unfortunately bigger is better isn't really compatible with ultra compact folding. So in this case, the wheels on the YoYo Plus are actually not that big. So I was really worried when I was going to try it out that the stroller would not be able to handle outdoor environments very well. So real life sidewalks, walkways, bridges, potholes, you name it. I was really thinking this thing wouldn't hold up, but it does surprisingly well. The wheels are hard rubber, and somehow between that and the suspension, it manages to keep them rolling really smoothly. And also these wheels have really good bearings apparently, and between that and the hard rubber, it has really low rolling resistance. That means it's easy to steer this thing even with just one hand or even just with 2 fingers. Actually, this thing rolls a little too well. You have to be sure to engage the foot brake every time you stop, because if you're on even a slight incline, it might start rolling away. So especially when you get to like crosswalks and you're waiting for the light, you got to be a little bit more careful than you would on a regular stroller. Despite being small, these wheels seem to be big enough not to fall into a lot of grates. I like to show this one clip of this stroller we had in Japan and what happens if you hit a grate the wrong way. I tried many times to get a similar thing to happen on the YoYo Plus, and you really have to try hard and find the exact right situation to get it to happen, and it doesn't happen by accident, which I think is the whole point. One other note on the wheels and the frame. Because of the way that this thing folds, the back wheels are actually closer together and the front wheels a little bit further apart, so that when it folds they don't interfere with each other. But since the handle is actually pretty high up, because it's curved, if you hold it up in the middle, your hands are pretty high up off the ground. So that means you have a pretty high lever with a very narrow base. So actually, you got to be a little bit careful when you're turning around and maneuvering, because it's easy to have the wheels on the back come off the ground. So you just got to be careful, make sure that you don't topple over your kid. So it's not that bad, but you just have to be careful. The storage on the bottom is pretty decent for a stroller of this size. The utility of the space, though, is limited by these crossbars that they have in the front that block the front entrance. So it kind of reduces the usable volume, especially if you have large packages. You can only kind of cram them in from the back. Also, FYI, if you see a stroller that looks very similar but has a really narrow basket, that's actually a yo-yo. And that's the main difference between a yo-yo and a yo-yo plus, is that the older version has a much narrower basket on the bottom. It has pretty decent canopy that blocks UV, and it also includes a small window to see what your kid is doing when you're in the back. So that's pretty handy. It also includes a decent size storage pocket in the back of the seat, so you can store the rain cover or your mobile phone or your wallet or whatever. So that's actually pretty good. And it includes the rain cover for free. Here's what it looks like when it's on. One thing I wasn't too impressed with is the way that the seat reclines. So it's just basically got this webbing strap and the kind of clasp that you see on a backpack, and you just kind of have to slide it back and forth. So kind of cheaped out here. I've seen ones which have spring-loaded clasps that work much better. So I guess that would be one other area that they could improve, but it's not the end of the world. Last but not least, it has a pretty decent 5-point harness which clicks together relatively easily. 1, 2, 3, together. So, it includes shoulder straps, which, as I mentioned in my other videos, is really important too. So overall, I was really impressed with the Yo-Yo Plus, especially the rolling and the handling. The fact that you can steer it with just one hand or even just a few fingers is a real big plus. The fact that it folds so compactly is also a big plus. I've been flying so much lately and wasted so many hours just sitting at the gate waiting for them to bring my stroller out when we checked it at the gate, that the thought of just having the stroller with me all the time up in the overhead bin, as soon as we get off the plane, pull it out, unfold it, and walk off, literally that could save you 15-20 minutes right there. So all those features plus the sturdy construction make me think that this is actually worth the price tag of $400 or $500. It should hold up for a couple of years at least, and it'll definitely hold up a lot longer than those sub $100 travel strollers that you see. So last but not least, let me talk about the phonies out there. As I've mentioned, I see yo-yos almost every day in the subway or in shopping malls, etc. But in fact, at least half of what I see, probably actually maybe 75% of what I see nowadays, is not a real yo-yo. In fact, this design is quite popular with mainland China fakesters. And since I live in Hong Kong right next to the border, we see lots of people bringing them down. Some of them have similar designs, and some of them actually have very similar names as well. So it's not a yo-yo, it's a Yoya, or a Yayo, or a Vovo. And some just steal the design and use their own brand names like Aiqi, Kiddopotamus, BabyZen, and my personal favorite, the Nglatoo. Some of them are as cheap as $50, as you can see here on Taobao. They're just a fraction of the price of a real yo-yo. So, buyer beware. These things are going to be cheap and fall apart when they're selling at those kind of prices. But I think the key thing is, if you're considering buying a stroller that looks like a Yo-Yo Plus, really be careful and double check, triple check that it really is a Yo-Yo Plus. Even if you see one that says Yo-Yo on the side or on its canopy, it's possible that it's still a fake. So be sure that when you buy it, you buy from somewhere reputable, and if it's way cheaper than a real yo-yo, it's almost definitely a fake. So, definitely a thumbs up from the Clueless Dad on the BabyZen YoYo Plus. It's not the cheapest one out there, but I think it's actually worth the price. If you guys have any questions, any feedback, any experience with the YoYo Plus, please leave a comment below. Do consider subscribing and check out our other videos here on the Clueless Dad. Bye. sides get worn in, it won't be as tricky as I'm finding it right now on the first try. But see, I can already get it off easier, so not that bad.